Just some thoughts on sugar. So I never actually track sugar. I've never tracked sugar. The way that I check and get my girls in particular to put their MyFitnessPals is to actually change the sugar column to fiber because I care more about them hitting a fiber intake than a sugar intake because your sugar intake doesn't actually matter if you cross off the basics of your food, which in my terms, it's making sure you hit all of your protein, which is at least 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight with the way that I do it, and at least 800 grams of veggies is what I usually go for. And then there's like try to get in 2 servings of fruit and obviously fruit sugar too. And people freak out about that. But if you don't have any conditions where sugar may impact you more, then I wouldn't really worry about it. I do have some diabetics and they eat sugar easily, but what I would say when it comes to sugar there is never have sugar on its own. Have it with a protein source because sugar creates obviously an insulin spike, but obviously so does protein. It's just that it instead of it being like a spike and then coming back down as a sugar crash. But I say this for like all carbs in the end turn to sugar molecules. So I try to tell my girls in particular not to have carbs alone, to have them with a protein source or to make sure that it has a high amount of fiber. But I always try to say have it with a protein source. Like that's what my diabetics do. And that enables that insulin spike to not come down crashing, but to come like more gradually down. The other thing I would also consider is depending on the person, where they have the carbs and where they have the sugar. Because if you have it when you're just going to sit down for ages, you're not actually moving your muscles to increase your insulin sensitivity. So there's that as well. And I would also say it depends on the amount of muscle mass that person has, because people with not a lot of muscle mass don't have a high level of insulin sensitivity to help process the sugar. So there's that as well. But as long as you're getting in enough fiber, as long as you're getting in enough protein, I wouldn't actually worry about sugar whatsoever. And I think people actually mentally masturbate over this whole clean eating bullshit. Like, yeah, it's good to eat most of your food as whole unprocessed food. But when I say unprocessed, there's processed food, which is good for you, but then there's ultra processed food, which should be limited. But yeah, the only other thing that I absolutely hate and it just does my head in is healthy hacks and organic hacks and raw vegan hacks and all these stupid clean eating hacks where they do like friggin' make this clean cheesecake with bloody date syrup and bananas and coconut oil and seeds and almond flour and almond this. And it's just like you just turned a 200 calorie slice into a 400 calorie slice because you replaced sugars and carbs with fats. Anyway, I hope that helped.